last class, we have gone through a case studies of how to do an online examination last class, and today's our class also we will be having a case studies that imagine that you have interested with the project of an institute. That means imagine you have a role of a software engineer and a project statement is given to you, and you are supposed to build a project with the help of web-based application project with the help of PHP. So this project is about an institute where you are supposed to feed the student marks class-wise. But the constraint is the class strength need not be same. It varies from class to class. For example, if you take up IT department, we have 60 students in one class. In another class, we have 75 students. And if we take up CSE, we have 90 students. So class strength varies. So you should design a software which actually accommodate this kind of requirements. Where if you want to feed the marks in a text box, so the text box, if you are having 10 students, there should be 10 text boxes. Of if you have 20 students, then 20 students should be accommodated in the respective text boxes over there. So similarly, you have to generate an user interface dynamically. So that is the challenge here. For example, if I want to enter marks for only 10 students, there should be only interface which accommodates only 10 students. If I enter 20 students, then there will be the user interface automatically it should be generating 20 students over here. So we are going to develop an application where you have to push the marks dynamically. At the same time, you have to view the marks class-wise. These are the constraints which I have given over here. So merely the project specification will be only like this. Okay, so the raw specification will be given over here, but in detail you have to frame the software requirement specifications of whatever the content I have given over here. So one by one you have to analyze and first frame the software requirement specification, and then we can go to the implementation part. Okay, so this is the constraint. So as far as web application is concerned, there are three types of parts. One is called as a front end. We call it as front end. So front end we'll be doing with the help of HTML, and the next one is middleware. Middleware we'll be doing with the help of PHP, and the last one is called as backend. Backend we'll be using MySQL. So these are the things. So any web application, we have three sets of these things. Okay, three layer inside a web application. So that's why this web applications are called as three-tier architecture. There will be two types of software applications. One is two-tier architecture and three-tier architecture. So as far as web application is concerned, majority of the web applications are three-tier architecture. Why it is called as three-tier? So you will be using three types of versions. One is front-end, middleware, and the last one is called as backend. So this is the reason why this is called as a three-tier architecture. So what I said, the constraint number one is each class strength of the student varies. For example, if I enter 4 students, there should be only 4 students inside the class. That means there should be 4 text boxes should accommodate 4 students over there. If I enter 10, then there should be text boxes accommodating 10. So this text boxes is called as user interfaces, which has to be generated dynamically. So the user interface should be generated dynamically. Okay. So this is the constraint. So number one. Now listen here, I'm going to have a front end. So let us understand that what you want to enter in the front end, you cannot generate a user interface dynamically in HTML. Is it possible? Can you generate a user interface dynamically only in HTML? Can you do it? Anyone? I just throw the question to you in open forum. Can you generate a user interface that is, say for example, a user interface here is called as text boxes dynamically in HTML? Is it possible? Anyone can answer? For example, if I want to have text boxes, 2 text boxes for these two text boxes, I have to code in HTML, isn't it? If I want to change it to 3, then once again I have to recode it. I have to erase the previous content, I have to recode it, or I have to modify that. So that is not possible as far as HTML is concerned. So HTML, you can have only static content inside. If you are writing with HTML, you can have only static content inside. So what you have to do here is, now listen here, in the front end, I should design a text box. I should have a text box. Okay, this text box should have the number of students, and I should have a submit button. Okay, so when I actually enter 4 over here, for inside the text box, then it should go to a middleware, and then in middleware, what should I do? I have to generate 4 text boxes. So in HTML, I'm just going to feed what are the number of the students here. Okay, in HTML, I'm going to feed only the number of the students, but when we go for the middleware, based on this number, I have to create the number of text boxes based dynamically. So I cannot do anything in HTML, only I can feed the data. But if you want to generate a dynamic interface, that can be done with the help of only PHP over there. Okay, so now listen here. As soon as I just enter the number of students inside the text box, and where I press submit button, I have to grab this data. So grab this data, say for example, I enter 5. So I should generate 5 text boxes over here, but it should be in the format. Say for example, I should have class name. So class name should be 1 text box, and the next one should be the student name. Student name should be in another text box, and then I should have marks here. Okay, and similarly, this should be followed for all the students. If I enter 3 students, I should have the same details for all the 3 students: class name, student name, and marks over here. Okay, and again at the end of this, I should have a submit button. Okay, and after the submit button, so all this data has to be fetched. Say for example, if I am entering the marks for 10 students at a time, all the 10 students marks should be pushed inside the backend here. So all students marks should be stored at a time. That is very, very important. At a time. So in one click, it has to push. Even 50 or 60 number of students are there, all the marks should be pushed over here. So this is called as a project specification. So this is called as a raw specification here, and this is called as the technical specification. So in the front end HTML, I'm going to have only 1 text box, and in the middleware, I just grab that value and I'm going to create this kind of interfaces in middleware. Okay, so 3 lines of code. Now in backend, I'm going to store this data. Okay, now I'll tell you how to actually store all this data together. So I'm not going to write separate files for HTML or PHP. So I'm going to do all these things, all these 3 layers in one file itself. Okay, if you want very good clarity, you can put it in different files, but the best way of doing it is, for efficiency, we will have only one file, and I'm going to design all these 3 things inside a single file. Inside a single file. Are you able to understand? I'm not going for as far as this is concerned, at least you need 3 files over here to do it, but I'm going to do it in a single file. So now understand. Are you able to understand the problem what I'm giving?
Yes, sir.
Mayapan, are you able to get it?
Yes, sir.
Pavitra?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Neha, are you connected, ma? Number 94, Neha. Okay. Mukundan, are you able to get it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now listen here. So finally, the purpose of studying PHP is not to write the examinations. Okay. Just scoring 90 or 95%. I have seen your papers. Almost all the codes are looking identical. So that is not the right way of coding. Whenever you write the code, every code should be looking different. I don't know how you have done it. So whatever means you have used, try to avoid or try to use a different pattern in coding. Okay, I have evaluated for more than 90 students over here, but majority of the code are looking similar, so that should not be the case. So everyone should be unique in coding. That's very, very important. Okay, that's a prominent part. Now listen here, I will try to code it now. So I will just first code the front end now. I'll just code the front end. Now what the front end consists of, the front end is having HTML, and that HTML should have one text box and one submit button. So in one text box, what I'm going to do, I'm going to just give the number of students. That is very, very important. So number of students. Now listen carefully. I will start off with the HTML. So I write form. So whenever you include a text box, definitely it should be a part of form here. Form method post. So action equal to, just I type it as student marks here. Student marks.php. Okay. Student marks.php. Now listen carefully. So I close the form. So what my form should consist of? My form should consist of only a text box here, one text box and one submit button. So what is the purpose of the text box? For what purpose I have to generate this text box? Can anyone tell me for what purpose I have to use this text box?
To get the number of students, sir.
Exactly, to get the number of students. So I use number of students. So this is just a label. This does not have anything to do with the text box. This is just for the user clarification. Okay, so merely if text box is there, if a layman and comes and operates with that, he cannot, he may not know what you have to do with the text box. For that purpose, I'm just giving number of students. So if he sees that word, he can say that he can enter the number of students inside the text box. For this purpose, we are just this is called as a label. Okay, so input type equal to text here, and name I just give it as number. Okay. And I use a BR tag here, and at the end of this, I should have a button called as input type equal to submit. Submit. Okay. Now, what I said, value also I will give. Value is the content which is going to be appearing over the text box here. So I just give it a submit here. Now, whenever you want to operate in the same file, so I am going to operate with the same file. So student marks is also the same file. Everything is going to be to and fro. You are going to transfer the data inside the same file. Now, if you are going to transfer the data in the same file, you have to name the submit button so that you will get a clarity in that. So I will just give the name to a submit button. So name number of students. Or I will just give submit number, any name you can give. Okay, this is all up to the user. Okay, so my submit button name is called as submit number. Okay, now I will just verify whether this is going to work, but see here, this is just a HTML page, but I'm going to do PHP also in the same file. Okay, so this file is going to dominate with the help of PHP code, but a mere part, very minor part I'm just doing with HTML. So if even one line of PHP code exists in a HTML file, and that file should be named with the same extension called as .php. Okay, so now I said that I'm going to operate with the same file. So what I'm doing is I'm going to name this file as studentmarks.php. So I just name this file as student marks.php. Listen carefully. So save this. Now I just run it and show you how come it is getting executed. So inside IT projects, I have student marks.php. See here. So I have written HTML, but the extension is given as .php. Okay. So if I type anything, number of students 4 or 5, and press submit, so number of 4 or 5 interfaces should be created in the pattern which I have prescribed there. Okay. So number of students I have created it. Now listen carefully. So how to do this? Now here comes, you have to write the PHP code. Listen carefully. So first you write the PHP code. So immediately you have to write the PHP code. Close this. Now listen here. So when the content should go to the PHP code, I will be entering the marks here, number here, number 4 I have entered here, and after that when I press the submit button, all this data should be transferred to your PHP file. And what is the name of the PHP file? The same file called as studentmarks.php. So it should be getting transferred inside the same file here itself. So I want to check whether this submit button is pressed or not. So how to check whether the button is pressed or not? I'm using like this. If I'm using isSet. Okay, so isSet is a function which checks whether the variable is activated or inactivated. Are you able to understand? So if isSet, now if the button is not pressed, isSet will be giving me false. If the button is pressed, isSet will be giving me true. So now which button you have to verify whether it is pressed or not? So you have to verify, you have to use $_post here. And what is the name of the button I have given? I have given the button name called a submit button. So inside post, type it as submit number. Exactly the same thing you have to do. Okay. So now if this submit button is pressed, what will happen? The entire instruction will be giving me the answer called as true. Okay. If it is true, then only I have to collect the data. So I am just doing like this. Clear? So if isSet is submit equal to true, what I'm doing, I'm just giving like this. Now what should I do? I have to collect these answers. So where is the number given? It is given in the text box called as NO, number. So I just collect this data, NO equal to $_post, and just do number here. I got it. I got the number. But what is the constraint I have? So if I give 3, there should be 3 sets of records should be created for class name, student name, and marks. Okay. If I give 5 sets of record has to be created. Everything should be created dynamically. So I cannot create an user interface dynamically in HTML, but it can be done with the help of a PHP file. It's very, very important now. Now listen carefully. Now, what is the format of the text content here? The format should appear like this. So first I should create a text box for class name. Next I should create for student name, and next for marks. So for every student I should have 3 text boxes. If there are 5 students, I should have 15 text boxes. That's the content. So everything should be appearing in a table format so that you can push the data here. So this is the format which I have to generate. Now listen carefully. So how to do this? Now I write a for here. So for loop for I equal to 1 and $i less than or equal to $number. What does it mean? Now if I enter number equal to 3, so this I spans from 1 to 3. That's all. Okay. So $i plus plus. Now this for loop will be running number of times as far as this number is there. Now listen carefully. Now what should I do? I have to create text boxes here. 3 text boxes. Listen carefully. 3 text boxes. So first, whenever you want to create a text box, every content should be inside a form here. So form method equal to post and action. Again, I will transfer those same file called as student marks dot php. Student marks. So where is student marks.php? Again, we are going to transfer the content in the same file here. So I just use this, ignore this double quotes, because for echo also I am using double quotes. So it will result in an error here. Okay. So student marks.php. Now listen here. So form is done. Now I create a table. So I want to have a table look over here. So I use a table here. Close this. Now echo. So I use tr. You know that tr is called as table row. TD is called as table column. So what should be the first column I should have? The first column should be a text box which accommodates a class name. So I give like this: input type equal to text name equal to class name. Very good. This is very important. Class name. Class name. Okay. Now tell me whether I am going to get only one class name here. Whether I am going to get only one class name here.
No, sir.
So what should I do? If it is only one text box, what will happen? The first text box will be erased by the second text box. Second text box will be erased by third text box, so on and so forth. If everything will have a same name, means you will not be able to refer here. Are able to understand? So since all the text boxes are going to have multiple values, okay. So first text box will have one value, second text box will have another value. So you should not write the name as class name. So it should be indexed as class name array. So how to write a class name array? So use class name of the class and then use array here. Okay, when you put a square bracket, then that is treated as a text box array. It is called as a text box array. Now I have given the name. Next one, I close TD here. Now again I open TD. What should be the next column? Input type equal to text here, and the name is actually I'm going to have the student name. So I'm not going to get only one student, I'm going to get multiple students. So there are so many students inside the class. So if I give simply student name, that will be treated as one text box. Even if it appears n number of times, it will be treated as one text box. So I want a text box array. Again, you put a square brackets here. Okay, so now text name student is also there. Now the last one is you should create an array for marks. Input type text. Now name equal to, I'm not going to have one marks, I'm going to have the marks of every student. So put a square brackets like this, close this, and then close this TD, okay, table column, and close this TR. Are you able to understand? So this I have written for one student. For one student, I should have 3 text boxes. If 5 students are there, how many text boxes will be created? 15 text boxes will be created here. Are you able to understand? I will show you. Now listen carefully. I will show you here. Now see here, I enter 3. Now see here, there are 3 records. There are altogether 9 text boxes. So the first row stands for the first student, second row for the second student, so on and so forth. Are you able to understand? Suppose I just enter 5 here. Now see here, there will be 5 text boxes. I am putting it in the same file. Are you able to understand? Mukundan, are you able to understand?
Clear, sir.
Okay. Naresh, are you able to get it? Number 90. Okay, pa. So see, understand where students, actually this is, we will discuss the class practically. Okay. So whatever theoretically you are learning may not help you. That's very, very important. So day by day the skill set is growing in a large manner. Okay. So extensive studies is required. Extensive studies and extensive knowledge is required. You should know how to apply the technical skills, whatever you have acquired for the past 3 years and so. Okay, that's very, very important. Okay, now see here, I'm just telling you how to apply PHP in the real pragmatic scenario. Now see here, but when you see here, you can see the first column I have said it is class name. Second column is actually student name, and third column it is said as marks here. But there is not any clarity. So if a layman have a view of this project, he may not understand for what purpose this kind of text boxes has been built over here. So to make it clarity, okay, to give a clarity over here, now see here, I just have TR here. Okay, what is the first column? First column, you have to type class name. So TH is called as table header. Okay, class name. TH is called as class name. Second one, you have to give student name. student name, and th. So third one, what should be the header bar? Third one,
Mark, sir.
yes,
Mark.
th is marks, th here. Okay, and I close the row here. Now listen carefully. I just press save here. Now see here. Now it is visible, isn't it? Whenever I say class name, everyone can type their respective class name here. Student name, students can type their names, and finally marks of that respective student. So for 60 students or 100 students or 180 students, all the students, you can type the name over here. That's very, very important. Okay, simple. Now what should I do? I should have a submit button to post the marks again to the same file here. Okay, now what I have to do to post the marks here? Now I should incorporate a submit button and the end of this file. So if I use submit button here, what will happen? If 5 times text box is created, 5 times submit button will also be created. But I want submit button only one time. So what should I do? I should not write submit button inside the loop. So I have to just take it outside of the loop here. So where the loop ends here. Now I just write it as echo tr. Again, it is inside the table, isn't it? So td use input type equal to submit value is equal to submit here, and I give the name as post marks. So marks differ here. Okay. So the name of this submit button is called as post marks here. So I close the td and I close tr here, and finally I close the table because table is start here and table is inside the form, and finally I have to close the form also. Okay, that's it. Now the second portion, the middleware portion, is coming to an end. Okay, some small portion is to be done to store the data inside the database. Listen carefully. Now I'll refresh it. So I enter 7 students. So what happens? Now listen here. The name, you are appearing it, and submit button is here. When I press submit button, all the data will be posted over here. Okay. So you can even change. There are 2 submit buttons appearing. All the labels of submit buttons are similar. So what I can do is I can just use this as post marks here. Post marks. Okay. So this value will be changed over here. I'll just change here 4 submit buttons. Now I just changed as post marks. So now what I have to do, I can type any name here. I can type student name, and then I can type marks here. Sorry, I can type marks here. I can type another marks here. I can type anything like this. Okay, so you know how to evaluate this, all these things. Okay, now finally when I push post submit buttons, all this data should be pushed inside the database, and you should be working it out. Now what should I do? So when I press this post marks, all this data should be posted to a backend here. Backend means it is called as MySQL. So again, I am not going to write the same file. I am not going to write a different file. I have to post in the same file here. So how to post it in the same file? Now listen carefully. So I write like this. So else if even I can write if here, if now is set listen carefully, is set $_post. Now when this portion should get activated, when this post marks is submitted here, when this post mark button is pressed here. So I use like this post marks. Okay, now what I have to do here, now the first step what I have to do here is I should create a table. Okay, I should create a table. So what should the table consist of? I should create a table with class name. The next is all these parameters a table should accommodate it. First table should have the class name. Second, I should have the student name. And third, I should have a marks. Okay, so I should create a table inside a particular database here. Let us see here. Localhost. Now see here, I'm going to choose a database here. So the database here, I will choose it as batch 1. So you belong to batch 1. So see here, in batch 1, I'm going to create a database called as student marks. There's not any database, a table called as student marks in database called as batch 1. Okay, so this database should be dynamically created. So for that, what should I do? I have to verify whether the table is already created or not. If it is already created, if you are once again creating, what will happen? The existing table content will get erased and the fresh, all the contents will go off. Okay, so the table will be looking fresh. Now that should not happen, isn't it? So what should I do? If the table is already created, I can push the data inside. If the table is not created, then I have to create the table. Now, what should I do to check it out whether the table is already created or not? I have to verify whether the table is created or not. So what should I do?
Select one
Sir,
from
by
table.
using select one
Yes,
query,
yes.
sir.
Any one at a time.
Sir, select query, sir. Select one from that table, sir.
Okay, first Mohandan, what should I do? First, I have to establish a connection, isn't it? So connection is equal to, I just use MySQLi connect. So this is called as MySQLi procedural method. Okay. So localhost is the name of my system, and I use root here, the username, and password is nothing. So the database name is called as batch 1, isn't it? So batch 1. Now what should I do to verify whether the table is existing or not? So listen carefully. So you have to write a query. So what is the table name? Select one from, what is the table name? I want to create the table called a student marks here. Okay, so first I want to verify whether the table exists in the database or not. So select one from student marks. If I run this query, if it is returning the value false, that means the table does not exist. Then you have to create the table. So when I run this query, if the query is returning true, then the table already exists. Okay, so how to run this query? That's very simple. Now I create a Boolean variable, Boolean equal to MySQLi underscore query. Now the first option is you have to give connection. Let's create a connection. Connection object is already there. Now second parameter you have to pass the query. Okay. So listen here, it's all simple concepts. Okay, these are all simple concepts. Need not, the code is not complicated. Okay, nothing fancy about it. So you should know how to apply the code in the practical scenario. Okay, so pragmatic learning is much better than theoretical learning. Theoretical learning will not help you at any cost. Okay, so pragmatic learning is far better. Clear? Any doubts? So I made a small mistake here. It should be square brackets. Okay. Okay. Now listen here. So now if this Boolean value returns false, what does it mean? That means the table does not exist. Okay. Boolean is equal to false. Then you have to create a table. Listen here. So how to create a table? So you know, once again, query equal to, so first one, create table, and what is the name of this table? It is called a student marks. Okay, so the first parameter should be class name, and varchar length of it is, let us have varchar of 20 space. Now the next parameter is called as student name. So student name, varchar, and I should have, let us have 30 characters to accommodate the student name. And the last one is called as marks here. So marks, definitely it should not be a varchar, it should be of integer type. So I make it as integer here. Process. Okay, so what I have done, I connected to the database. I verify whether the table exists in the database. So if the MySQL query is returning false, that means the table does not exist. So then what I'm trying to do, I write a query to create a table. So to create a table, what I have to do, again I have to pass this using MySQLi underscore query. Now an action. Okay, now query. Okay, so if this runs successfully, what will happen? The query will be created. So the table will be created inside the query. Now listen carefully. I will check it out whether the table is already created or not. This is very, very important. Now listen here. Okay, so first I enter 3. Submit. Okay, now I post marks here. Now it goes off. It just comes out. You just check it out whether the table is created or not. So batch 1. I refresh it. So now you can see here in batch 1, there is a table which is created called a student marks. Now the student marks consist of class name, student name, and marks here. It is already created. Okay, so it verifies whether the table does not exist, and if it is false, it has already created. So one part is already done. Now what we have to do, we have to push all the data inside this table. That's all. That is the only part which is left over here. So how to do that? Now here comes the problem. Okay, so extreme care is required to solve this. Listen carefully. Now, so far what we have done, we have collected the data in a text box. But this is not going to be a text box. This is called as text box array. Class name, student name, marks is called as text box array. Okay, now how to collect this data from here? So what I'm going to do is simply I make it as class name. Same concept, need not have any specialization to do that. Okay, even if it is single text box or text box array, collecting the data is similar. That's all. Only extraction is different. Okay, while extracting, you have to make a minor modification to do that. Now dollar underscore post here. Okay, class name. Okay, same thing. Whether it is a single variable or array, you are going to say by here, I have given a class name array, but while collecting, I am just simply giving it as class name only. I am not giving it as an array here. Only class name is given. Okay, no need to specify 2 square brackets over here because it automatically takes by itself. No need to give. Now, what is the second name I have to collect? It is student name. Student name is equal to dollar underscore post here. I can give student name. Second step. Okay, and the last one, I have to collect the marks here. Marks equal to dollar underscore post this marks here. That's it. Okay, so now you can see here, this is not a single variable. Class name is an array. Similarly, student name is an array and marks is an array. That means it is not going to hold a single value. It is having multiple values. But one thing you have to understand that even though all the 3 are called as arrays, okay, it is of same and equal length over here. Everything is actually equal here. So if class name is, you have 5 class names, student names also you will have 5 student names, and marks also you will have 5 marks over there. Okay, so for class name, if you have 2 classes and you cannot have 5 students over there. So if I'm going to type class name there, I have to type the corresponding student also there. So now what I have to do is I have to measure this. Okay, so if I just to find the total marks here, so what I'm going to do here is, listen carefully, I use like this for dollar I equal to 0. Now dollar I less than, I'm going to count any one array. Even if I can count class name or student name or marks, everything, all the arrays are of equal length. Okay. If you want to enter information for 3 students, there will be 3 class names and there will be 3 marks. and there will be 3 students. Okay, almost all the arrays are equivalent. So what I'm doing is count. I'm just counting anything. So class name. I have to count like this, dollar class name here. So dollar I plus plus. That's it. Now listen carefully. So now what I have to do is I have to only extract the data. That's all. Extract the data from this. Now how to extract the data? Now what is the first class name? Class name will be stored in class name of I. I of I is equal to 0. So class name of 0 will have the first class name. Student name of 0 will be having the first student name. And marks of 0 will be having the first marks here. So marks of 1 will be having second. Similarly, class name of 1 will be having second. So on and so forth. Okay. So now what I have to do is I am going to extract this. So I write like this. So I have to insert all this data. So write a query here. Query equal to insert into. Okay. So which table I have to insert? I have to insert inside the table called as student marks. Student marks. So inside into student marks. Okay. And what are the fields I have to insert? So see what is the field name here. So the field name, first field name is class name, second field name is student name, and third one is marks here. Okay. So first one is class name. Next one is stud name. And third one is marks here. Okay. So I have to insert the values here. So where is the values? Values. Okay. Can you tell me where is the values here? Where is the values?
Sir, array in array, sir. Class array,
Yes.
class name array and student array and mark array.
Pavitra, can you tell me, ma? 99. Number 99,
Sir?
Pavitra. Yes, ma. Tell me, ma. Hello?
Sir,
Yes. Pavitra, I want to get the first class name here. So what should I write here, ma?
sir, in array,
Yes, array. Yes, array. Array. What is the name of the array here, ma? For class name?
the class name only. Sir.
Yes, class name array, whether it is var character or integer here. Class name is var character, isn't it? So
Yes, sir.
whenever you want to enter a var character here, you have to just include in single quotes here. So include single quotes and name of the array is called as class name, and inside the square brackets represent I over here because I is going to be the variable here. Dollar, close this. Okay, now class name is called as a character. So it is actually flanked by single quotes. Now the next one is called as student. I have to enter the student. So student is also called as var character here. So what should I do, Mukundan? What should I do here?
Sir, in single quotes, we have to return dollar student name SUDNAM
Student name.
of dollar I.
Dollar I. Okay, very good.
and then
Close. Single quotes. Okay, now the third one is not var character, it is integer. So when anything is integer, there is no need to specify in single quotes. So what you have to do is you have to specify directly as it is. So directly I specify dollar marks here. Okay, so close this query. And what should I do is
Sir,
I have to
marks of I,
marks
sir.
of I. Okay, thank you. So dollar I here. Okay. So square brackets. Okay. Now I have done my query. So last thing I have to run this query. That's all. So I use like this to run this query. I use MySQLi underscore query. So the first one is connection. The second one is the name of the query itself. Done it. Okay. So what happens when I is equal to 0? The first data will be inserted inside the table. When I becomes 1, the second data will be inserted in the table. So on and so forth. N number of data will be inserted in a table at one shot. Okay, so this is the idea behind doing this project. So finally, you have to push all the data inside this at a time. Okay, so I will just run this. Listen carefully. Now I give the data for 3 students. Yes. Now listen here. So the first I'm entering IT. Last name is IT. Student name okay, Arvind, and marks I enter 78. Second again IT. Student name is Mayappan, and marks is 82. Third IT. I enter Naresh, and the marks is 81. Okay, now what should I do? I have the records of 3 students over here. Even for 10 students I can do it. Now what I'm going to do, I just post marks, so it's actually comes out, but actually it stores inside the database. So later I will tell you how to block this in a separate window here. Now if you just go and click the student marks, now see here, all the data are getting pushed in my database. Okay, at one instance, this is how, if you just go to your Anna University portal and verify your student records, you can see that from first semester to 8th semester, your records will be maintained in a database. At whatever time you log in inside the database, you can fetch your records. Even after 10 years, you can do that. Okay, so that's because of your data is getting persistently stored in a database which is maintained in the server. Okay, so this is nothing but this database is actually located in the server. But for Namesake, what I'm using client and server in my same machine. That's the difference. But you would understand, if it is getting stored in a server, instead of localhost, you have to specify an IP address over there so that you will get connected to a server over here. Okay, so that's all I want to say. The only one thing is left here is actually you have to view the marks based on the class wise. So if I enter IT, only I should be able to view the IT students names and marks here. If I enter CSE students marks over, that can be taken from a query, isn't it? Okay, so you can design a separate interface for that and then you can do it. So this is what I want to explain to you. So how to feed the data dynamically inside the database. So do you have any queries at the moment? Any questions?